¿Preparados? Esta la vamos a hacer en inglés, así que voy a cambiar con vuestro permiso de idioma. In 1472, in the Italian city of Siena, the Banca Monte dei Paschi was founded. It's the oldest bank still in use today, although it wasn't the first. As you may know and remember, the traders of Mesopotamia loaned grain to farmers and dealers around 2000 BC. Banking has a long history, although not much evolution. Some banks are still operating as they always have. But the recent fintech revolution brings us alternatives that can make our lives much easier and give us more control over our money. And this is only just getting started, or at least this is what our next speaker believes. So let's welcome Pieter Lettink. He's the international business developer in Treezor. Or Treezor.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, nice to meet you. So nice to be here with you. Hello from France.
Bonjour, bonjour from la France. It's lovely to have you here, Pieter, full of energy. You're the last one before the lunch, which is always the hardest.
Because, yeah, you know, exactly. Everyone's hungry.
Everyone's hungry, but I know that you come with all your energy and power. Looking forward.
Exactly.
So whenever you're ready, Pieter, to share your screen.
Perfect.
Let me double check that it's okay, because we've had a few little problems here and there, which everybody's used to this in virtual events. We know that this is very hard.
Perfect. So can you see my screen?
This is perfect. Perfect. Couldn't be better.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the introduction. And it is great to be here today with you guys in the French Tech Days Iberia. Unfortunately, we couldn't be there in person, but hopefully next year it'll be a bit better. So at least I can come and enjoy some of that Spanish sun. So it's my pleasure to present Treezor to you today to you. So what is Treezor? We operate in the banking as a service domain. So I'd like to start off my presentation just by explaining who we are and what we do. So we were launched in 2016, so that means that we've been on the market for 4 years. We operate in the banking as a service domain, which means that we provide fintechs, corporates, as well as banks with the products and services that they need to address the modern problems of today. For example, the digitalization of banking services, the fact that we're moving away from more of a retail type model to more of an online wallet-based card payment solution. These are the type of services that we provide on a white label basis. So we're also a licensed entity, which means that a lot of the boring compliance and regulatory aspects are also managed by us as a service. And we're passported in Europe. That means that every single one of those countries, the EU 27 plus, we are able to operate in. So a couple of recent informations for you is that we were acquired by the Groupe Société Générale last year, which helps us, to be honest, by way of funding generally, because it costs quite a lot to expand through Europe. And we didn't have the money to do that. And we were also winner of the MasterCard Innovation Award last year. So just a couple of numbers for you. So today we're actually 100 employees. We have 70 customers. We operate in 31 countries. We've issued 1 million card. That was actually a milestone for us, which we celebrated massively, which we achieved a couple of months ago. And we processed 5 billion euros of volume. That means euro volume per year. So banking as a service, what actually is it? We cover the entire payment value chain. That means that if you want to top up your wallet, either using a card, a bank transfer, or a check, if you're living in France, these are still services that are widely used today. We also cover the card issuing bit. So that means that if somebody comes to us and says, look, I want to issue a card, here is my logo. We do this for them on a white label basis. We also manage the KYC process. Once you need to open an account for your users, of course, it's always a good idea to identify who these people are, either if they're physical people or moral people, so businesses, to understand, a couple of information about them, such as what is the business that they operate in? are they really who they say they are? And are they not just trying to fraud you, which is actually something that we see a lot unfortunately, during this COVID-19 pandemic. These are all regulatory requirements that you need to take into consideration whilst working in payments and in banking. So this is also something that we do on a white label basis. I spoke a little bit about compliance, but the entire regulatory aspect, we allow either fintechs, corporates, or banks to use our license. Essentially, we have a license as a service. That means that if your average Joe, anybody has the idea one day that they want to launch an online bank, we have the full spectrum, not only from a tech perspective, but also from a regulatory perspective, for them to be able to do that. So if somebody is sitting online and thinks that they want to be the next N26, then come and see me after my presentation. We also process the transactions, as well as do international transfers, so SEPA transfers. This means that we're an aggregator of all these different types of services. For example, concretely, the founders of Revolut N26 and a lot of the online banks that are more known needed to have a regulatory as well as technical platform to be able to launch their service, because otherwise, if you're too busy finding a processor, linking in with one of the SIEMs, so MasterCard, Visa, finding a KYC provider, getting a license, you've already lost probably over 1 to 2 million euros before you've even launched your single card or even gotten your first bit of revenue. So instead of doing all that, we're a provider who does that as a service and allows people to achieve their dreams. So what are our strengths? Well, one of our big strengths is time to market. One of the reasons that a bank bought us was because it took them years to bring products to market. We can do it in a matter of weeks or months. We're a one-stop shop platform. That's what one of the main takebacks of my presentation is, that we're a provider that pretty much does everything. We have a proprietary API, a core banking solution, which allows you to run your bank in a way more efficient way than the legacy systems that are available today. We're agile, and today we're financially solid. Our pricing is also agile. That means that we don't discriminate. If you're somebody who has a dream and wants to launch your product, then come and see us and we can try and make it work. And we have a team full of experts that's worked in payments for the last 30 to 40 years. So some of the key innovations that we bring on a card level is the fact that we can play with the card. So that means that if you want to freeze your card, if you want to if you want to change your PIN, if you want to set your card to only work on one specific POS device, then these are all things that we can provide. This means that today, if you're an agency, if you have a retail model as a bank and you have agencies that are open, well, a lot of the time people will come and see you with kind of mundane problems with their cards. So instead of them constantly coming to see you and them asking you questions about why their card doesn't work, we can send instant notifications explaining what the actual issue is, or allowing the person to fix that issue by themselves in a very user-friendly way. So there's a couple of options in working with Treezor. The first is, let's say that if you're sitting online and you're watching this and you say, well, actually, I don't have a license. I don't have any of the infrastructure that I need to be able to launch a bank. So I don't have a processor. I don't have a scheme license. I need all this to be able to launch. This is something that you can use from us. So we white label our license for you. You can use it to commercialize your services. However, if you're a corporate and you have some, for example, online startup projects internally, or you want to bring a new product to market in quite quickly, then we can also work as a technical platform where we figure out the compliance notions. You know, either we use your license or you use ours, and you can use the agile tech that we provide in order to launch your product. So some of the first part of my kind of presentation focused a little bit more on the fintech side of things. You know, if you want to use our license and our services on a white label, more on the B2B side. is this something that Treezor really has experience in doing, as well as we've recently had this partnership with SG, which means that we can start to diversify our business lines. Either on one side, we can start providing credit as a service. We can also facilitate the interaction of corporate payments. So today that was a lot of the time done through the remittance type of banking model. However, tomorrow you can facilitate this by using batches or using a wallet system where you transfer money wallet to wallet, which is instantaneous and obviously free. Which is something that's obviously, corporates which have a large sensitivity to cost at the moment could be interested in. It allows us to let's say accelerate the way that things are done. So does that mean receiving money on a wallet instantaneously? Does that mean not having to wait 72 or longer hours for your bank transfer to arrive? Or does that mean actually becoming a neobank yourself and just having this online solution as an alternative for a brand that you already have? These are all things that we're able to do, and we've done so with business cases such as Conto, Lydia, and Shine, which are some of the unicorns in the B2B space. So just focusing in a little bit on what we did for actors like Conto. Well, they came to us with a dream, and they said, look, we want to launch our neobank in the B2B space. So they used our core banking, the wallets with IBAN, SEPA credit transfers, SEPA direct debit, so transfers, know your customer, know your business, virtual and prepaid cards, as well as the dynamic settings. So kind of the checks on the cards that I was talking about, freezing it, showing the PIN, blocking it to a specific type of merchant identifier, etc. The opportunities are there. So this that was more on B2B space. Then on the B2C space, we've also had the possibility to work with Lydia, who are let's say one of the more known actors in neobanks in France. And there we did similarly. So they came to us, they asked us, look, we want to launch an online bank. We don't have a scheme license, we don't have a processor, we don't have an electronic money institution license. Can you help us? Our answer was yes. So we integrated our solution to make their payments faster, to allow them to onboard their users in real time, so have a liveness KYC, and to issue both virtual and physical cards, of course, completely branded to their logo. So that was my presentation. I would be more than happy to speak with you after in the chat, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Pieter.
No problem.
God, that was amazing.
Thank you.
If you stop sharing the screen, your presentation, then maybe we can see you and talk a little bit. Yeah.
Okie doke.
That was absolutely fantastic, Pieter. I'm in shock. I'm a fan forever.
Are you a fan? Good.
Yeah, after that fantastic presentation, I mean, the question is, what do you need? You have everything. What does Treezor need? You don't need anything.
Well, we love to see entrepreneurs and people who, to be honest, it's more of my personal preference. People who really have just said, I've had a dream. I've always worked in this domain, but I want to launch something, and this is how I'd like to do it. Facilitating that interaction with entrepreneurs is something that we love to do. So yeah, it's been great so far.
So you're looking forward to meeting entrepreneurs in Spain and Portugal. Are you looking for any type of entrepreneur in particular, obviously within the fintech ecosystem, but is there anything in your wish list that
Exactly. So fintechs are generally our main clients, right? Because it is quite banking oriented. So we have the possibility to create these digital wallets, right? To onboard these people using the liveness. So it is quite oriented towards creation of online banks and facilitating banking in general. However, we also work in different domains like mobility as a service. We work in expense management. We work with actors that are also just providing B2C mobility services, right? Transport actors. So it's not only limited to banking, but definitely historically that was our main type of clientele.
For example, do you know fintechs in Spain like Fintonic, who's doing extremely well?
Yes, exactly.
Are you in touch? Do you need can we help you in any way? Because we're very good friends.
Yeah, okay. Well, actually, I would love to speak to them. Yeah, that would be fantastic. I don't think I personally know them yet. I would love that.
Send me your email. Well, I already think I have your email, but let's be in touch. You see, we're doing business here, guys. You should learn.
Exactly.
I'll put you in touch with Lupina Iturriaga. She's the CEO, and she's top.
Amazing.
She's doing
the
whole team. They just raised another round of investment, and they're doing a super good job. They're also dreamers like you guys, in the sense that they really want to do a good job. And the whole story of fintech of Fintonic started because Lupina and her husband, they're both they were working in the financial sector, in banks and stuff, and they realized that they didn't manage to, where does the money go? They were saying at the end of the month, how come us being specialists and trained in this domain, we don't know what's going on. So she started the company for that simple reason, and now they are, I don't know, over 100 employees, and they're doing extremely well. So there's a lot of fintechs in Spain that are doing quite well in that sense. I mean, probably they can learn from you as well. So it'd be good to put you in touch.
Yeah, for sure. I would love that. And what you said exactly, that's a bit of the problem with kind of modern banking, right? Because, a lot of the time, you find yourself at the end of the month and you kind of feel like you're getting cheated because you don't exactly know where some of your money is going. And what Fintonic and fintechs are trying to do is trying to make everything clearer for consumers, people like you and me. So this is something that we definitely support, the clarity behind where your money is going and how it's being used.
So in that sense, Pieter, just to finalize, which way do you think you could help the corporates? Because
very good question.
Sitting in the crowd there, and how can Treezor help them?
So corporates are also a type of entity that we work with. A lot of the time, one of the main pain points of corporates is the facilitating of their SEPA transfers. So, they need to transfer either money to suppliers, receive funds from suppliers, send funds to the different type of entities that they have. We can facilitate that either by transferring the money instantly or receiving the funds and sending them via batch. So generally, the facilitating payments for corporates is something that we're good at and willing to help with as well.
Have you encountered? I wonder. I always ask this question because have you encountered from the banks or even the big corporates a kind of are they helping? Have they realized that now fintech is here to stay and that they have to collaborate? But did you encounter some of that? At the beginning, fear or
Yeah, exactly.
Stay away from me feeling.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely understand your question, and it's true. In the beginning, banks were a little bit arrogant, right? They're like, look, we're banks, we own the money. Like that nobody can touch us, basically. But I think that fintech has done a pretty good job in showing that people want to have a better and more fluid banking experience. People are sick of going into the agencies, talking to somebody who doesn't actually really want to talk to them. And, it's always annoying. If you have a problem with your banking card and it's either blocked or it's getting stolen, you want somebody to help you, where you want a good customer experience. And I think that fintechs have done a good job in showing how you can facilitate and make banking better. And I think that the banks are finally starting to come around and notice they need to play in the space as well.
Well, yes, they are. And if there are any banks listening or, in the audience, we love you guys. Please don't take us wrong. We are in the same boat.
Exactly. So we are in the same boat, but we're here to help. We're here to help.
You're here to help, and there's plenty of ways to collaborate. You've heard it from Pieter from these fantastic, fabulous presentations. Pieter, congratulations for your work, for your presentation today. I'm sure you're going to be skyrocketing to infinity and beyond. So
thank you so much. Thank you for your great hosting. It's been an absolute pleasure being with you here digitally. Next time, I hope it'll be in person. And I look forward to speaking to people in the chat and seeing you again soon.
Exactly, Pieter. I would say we're gonna keep the Spanish sun for you for next year. In the meantime, you can meet Pieter, as he was saying, in Swapcard, please. I'm gonna give all the details now. So Pieter, I'm gonna say goodbye to you.
Bye now. Take care.
Okay, enjoy
Stay
your life.
safe.
Yes, of course we will. We'll try.
Bye bye.
Let me just, before we wrap up for lunch, let me just remind you of some of the details. Okay, as Pieter was saying.